All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So there's this huge discussion that's happening regarding the Jets running back room. And it's, will the Jets trade Breece Hall? Should they trade Breece Hall? If they do, they can maybe look at Ashton Jeanty at spot number 7. It's this big rabbit hole. And I think it, what really caused it was the Aaron Glenn presser the other day, where he was talking about, well, the Jets are going to try to get all 3 running backs involved. And it's not going to be this, like one workhorse type of back, and then 2 guys that get like just a couple carries here and there. Think of like Saquon Barkley in Philly, right? He's the lead guy, he's the feature back, and then you kind of have the other depth options. With Aaron Glenn, and it's not super surprising because he is coming from Detroit, and Tanner Engstrand is the OC, and he's coming from Detroit. That was a team that utilized 2 running backs, in David Montgomery and of course Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, and they had a lot of success with it, right? So I would expect at this point in April, before the draft, Aaron Glenn is not going to be, he hasn't coached any of these guys before. He hasn't, been around this locker room. I think he's really just saying, hey, all 3 guys are going to be involved. All 3 guys are young. All 3 guys are going to be game day contributors. Personally, the thought of trading Breece Hall before the season starts, it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? I'm not taking a strength of the team, right? We know the Jets want to run the football. I'm not taking a strength and trading a piece away, opening up another hole on this roster. It's the same conversation that we had with the whole Quincy Williams like trade speculation, and that also came from Rich Cimini. But and that whole thing was, do you trade Quincy Williams to pick up like a day 3 pick, clear some cap space, and then you just draft Jalen Walker with the 7th overall pick? To me, I don't like the idea of a team that has depth issues and a lot of holes, trading away strength, opening up another hole, to then just spend a top 10 pick to fill that hole that you just created. All for an extra 5th round pick or an extra 6th round pick, and $5-10 million saved against the cap this year. To me, it's just not worth it. And then to go back to the running backs, right? Tell me how this makes sense. You trade Breece Hall, and the reasoning behind it is, okay, last year of his deal, but Aaron Glenn, the New York Jets, they want to get other running backs the football. So it's not going to be this one-man show, this one guy doing everything, this one feature back. It's going to be a loaded running back room. All 3 guys are going to get carries. So we're going to trade Breece Hall to then draft Ashton Jeanty with a top 10 selection. If you're drafting a running back in the 1st round, you've got to be sure that he's going to be a feature piece, like a potential face of the franchise moving forward, right? Let alone a top 10 pick. So you're now you're trading Breece Hall away. You're adding Ashton Jeanty, and you're keeping the same approach, which is the multi-back, running back of committee, that type of plan. That makes 0 sense. At that point, you just go out and draft another running back in the 4th round, right? Giddens from Kansas State, Harvey from UCF, someone like that. If you're going to be implementing multiple backs, to me, it doesn't make any sense to draft a running back in the top 10 and then say, okay, no, you're going to be splitting carries with Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen. If it was the reverse, like the Jets were like, no, we need Breece Hall to do X, Y, and Z. We need him to be, a 3-down back, catch passes, run inside, run outside, throw screens to him, all these different types of things. And then we trade him, and then we're like, okay, we really need some help here. We need a bell cow back. Then you go get Jeanty. But not if it's a committee type of thing. And then also, too, if you trade Breece Hall and the plan is to draft Ashton Jeanty, I mean, you're taking a look at all the kind of pre-draft buzz. It's the Vegas Raiders at spot number 6. That's like his most likely destination. So very, very strange here with this whole running back thing. The only way I'm cool trading Breece Hall is if we're halfway through the year, the Jets are losing a bunch of games, the Jets don't want Breece Hall back, and there's a running back needy team out there saying, hey, we'll give you a 3rd, we'll give you a 2nd rounder or something like that for Breece Hall, who's having a good year, right? At that point, it's like, okay, we know he's not going to be back. We know he's not going to be here long term. Let's flip him and get an extra, draft pick for the future. But to trade him before the season starts for a team that wants to run the football and he's the best running back on the squad, I just don't like that mindset. Again, I'm not into slashing talent, trading strengths, opening up more holes for a team that has to fill multiple holes. I just don't like that idea. And one last point before I end the video here, which is important to talk about. It's easy to say, oh, trade this guy, trade that guy, trade back in the draft, trade up in the draft. Like, there has to be another team on the other end that is proactive in trying to make that happen, right? If you're a team right now, and let's just say next week, your favorite team, whoever it may be, pick a random one, Carolina Panthers, right? You're trading a third round pick for Breece Hall. I bet the majority of Panthers fans would say, okay, great, we're adding a young piece. He's a good player. He's NFL proven. He's helping Bryce Young. But now we have to give him a contract extension. We could have just used that third round pick on a running back in this upcoming class. And this running back class is literally considered the best running back class in the last 10 years. And we could have had a new running back with more tread on his tires on a cheaper deal for 4 years. So the Bills and James Cook are in a similar situation, because I've seen some Bills fans like, okay, well, if the Bills don't want to extend James Cook, and James Cook is, potentially going to start becoming a distraction because he wants a big contract, just trade him away. But who's the team that's acquiring James Cook at this point in the season before the draft? If anything would have to happen after the draft for a team that misses out on one of these running backs. Or, again, you're waiting until midway through the season at the trade deadline when someone's desperate. But anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on it. And as always, go Jets.